Hey there, divers! Today I'm going to be presenting you with the ultimate guide to diving Shaw's Cove in Laguna Beach, California. Famed as the location of some of the original scuba diving classes, the rocky reefs, many swim-throughs, and kelp forests of Shaw's Cove are known around the world. And after watching this video, you should have the knowledge to head out there and explore it on your own. Shaw's Cove is located in Laguna Beach, Orange County, California. Nestled between Crescent Bay and Boat Canyon, Shaw's Cove is on the western side of Laguna Beach. It's most common for Shaw's Cove divers to park along Cliff Drive at the top of the staircase. Aside from a bench, there are no other immediate amenities at the park. A limited amount of street parking is available and it does fill up quickly, so make sure you get to town early. We typically like to arrive between 6:30 and 7 in the morning. Just one block away from Shaw's Cove is the Beach City's dive shop. It's a great place to pick up some rental gear or gas fills. There are several beach access points in the area around Shaw's Cove. Shaw's Cove itself is 58 steps in 7 sets with a 50-foot vertical incline. The only thing better than going down the stairs is going back up them after a nice long dive. At least you've got these beautiful flowers to keep you company. There are 3 lifeguard towers in the area, including one at Shaw's Cove, another at Crescent, and the third is at Heisler. While there are no amenities at Shaw's Cove itself, there are public bathrooms available at Heisler Park, the Joaquin Hotel, and Crescent Bay South. Now that we've established the general area, let's take a little closer look at Shaw's Cove itself. I'm going to superimpose a couple outlines here so we can get a better idea of the shape of the actual reef itself. Those bolder lines represent surfaces that actually break the surface of the water, while the lighter lines indicate where the rocks hit the sand on the seafloor. Most every dive at Shaw's Cove is going to start here at the mouth of the large swim-through. To get there, you're going to enter the beach on the left side and swim along this rocky outcropping all the way down to the first large opening you come across, near where these 2 men are standing. From that point, you haven't been beat to death by too much surface swim, and you have easy access to all of the other areas of Shaw's Cove Reef. I like to think of it as 3 different zones, each with their own personal characteristics. First, we'll start off with the inner reef. This area includes the main swim-throughs, as well as the shallowest areas on the eastern side of the reef, the main wall where the rock hits the sand. A lot of beginners will spend a lot of time here. With that shallowness, there's a lot of life, a lot of fish, a lot of kelp, and a lot of these beautiful gorgonians. Some of my favorite parts of the reef are located here, such as this beautiful lump of rock that we very creatively call Gorgonian Rock. It's common to find large schools of fish in this area. Zebra perch and sargo are some of the most common. If you get even shallower than the edge of the reef and head on top of the main reef where the real shallows are, there's lots of real lovely little canyons and areas to swim through. It can be pretty difficult to navigate some of these areas. It's a bit of a maze, and there's lots of small little crevices and caves to go exploring. Just make sure that you don't do anything you can't get out of. The second area I want to talk about is the deep end of Shaw's, the deep reef here. This horn-shaped protrusion of rock is known for being a little bit darker and a little bit deeper, stretching from 30 to probably 55 feet. The deep end of Shaw's isn't extremely deep, but it's definitely darker and a little more foreboding than the shallower areas up top. I find the schools of jack mackerels, these large adult sheephead wrasse, and schools of opali and half moon to be more common in this area of the reef. The deep end can also be a little bit dingier and greener, depending on how the tides and the currents are rolling that day. Sometimes you can have really clean blue water up top and nice nuclear green water below. Even on nuclear green Merc City days, the wildlife is still pleasant to come and see. The Gorgonians seem to get even fluffier on these days, even more beautiful, with lots of extra particulate in the water. I imagine they're eating good in the neighborhood. In this clip, we're going to start on the western side of Shaw's, headed south toward that horn. Right here, we're going to be going around that corner and turning northeast, and headed up toward the shallow entrance to the cove. And right about here, we're going to be getting up into the shallow areas, passing Lucas's Grotto. Next up, I'd like to talk to you about that western side of the reef, the Crescent Cove edge of the reef. Here we're looking west toward Crescent Cove, and this area directly in front of me is the piece of reef I'll be talking about. Again, in this shot, starting at the northern end, the west side of the reef, and heading down toward the other side of Lucas's Grotto. You might be able to see that the kelp on this side of the forest is a little bit sparser than the eastern side. In this shot here, you can see us flying over from the inner reef to the edge of the sand. Along with that sparser kelp coverage, the area is also known for some shorter rocky channels. Leaving the edge of the sand, this area can also be a little bit of a maze with those channels. But they're absolutely gorgeous in the morning sunshine, well worth a little exploration. The density of vertical surfaces and little crevices to hide in make this kind of a haven for the fish. Lots of big sheephead weaving in and out with their Garibaldi friends. Lots of lobsters in this area as well. Next up, let's talk about one of the major attractions of Shaw's Cove, the many swim-through channels. Starting with the main east-west thoroughfare. From above, you can see the entrance to this main swim-through, headed west through this channel. Underwater, we can see that at the beginning, you're going to go through this large archway before heading into this narrow corridor. This particular area, right in the arch, can get a little bit sporty during different tidal changes, while there's not typically waves breaking directly overhead, and it's not a river by any means. There is usually a one-way flow of water out of this archway. It's a really stunning little piece of geology, and definitely worth sticking your head in the channel just to check out. As we move on through the channel, we're going to come up to our first intersection on the left there. Going past that, we're going to go through our first restriction here. This strange bell-bottomed, inverted T-shaped restriction is, again, another little bit of a sporty zone when things are moving. Take your time and know your limits. If there's waves coming over the top of the reef creating whiteout conditions, this is definitely a good point to turn around and just head back out through that entrance archway. Continuing on, we're going to come to our second intersection, the main four-way intersection. To the left there, a branch goes south toward the inner reef. Straight ahead goes to Sparkplug Alley, and to the right terminates in a shallow area in the center of the cove. Check out that little Haller's round ray following us. Real sweet little guys, but they do have a little bit of a stinger, so keep your distance. Continuing straight ahead, we're going to make our way down this narrow channel to the Sparkplug Alley exit. This area is connected to the western side, that Crescent Cove side of the Shaw's Reef. Here we are, coming back through that bell-bottomed restriction. Check out that sunlight pouring in from above. Next up, we're going to talk about that first intersection right at the beginning of the swim through. This is going to be an extremely narrow little passage coming off near that original archway. This leg is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's extremely narrow. It's a bit difficult to fit through and get a good finning technique. And when the ocean's a little more angry, it's definitely not somewhere that you want to be flushed through. It is, however, an extremely cool swim through if you get the opportunity on a nice calm day. There's plenty of fish and lots of lobsters hiding in the crevices in here. And once again, some lovely sunlight coming in through the kelp. Let's watch that one more time with someone in front of us so we can get a little bit of a scale comparison. Taking that initial left turn down this corridor, you've got to go down a couple feet. It's not super easy to get through without banging your tank valves or kicking some rocks. Your most effective finning technique is going to be these little tiny modified flutters. Watch your elbows and ankles. It is extremely tight in here again. Completing this swim through, you're going to pop out in the shallow inner reef right back around next to the entrance to that main swim through arch. Next up, let's talk about those southern branches that go down onto the Crescent side and inner reef from the swim through. This is at the second intersection after the bell bottom restriction. Looking up from the top, you can see that four-way intersection. And when you take that first left, it goes to a two-way intersection that branches off to the right. In this shot, we're taking that left at the intersection and going straight through. It's a pretty narrow little spot. You can see that there's quite a lot of movement in here. Again, a little bit of a bell-bottom restriction, and then a narrow canyon that shoots out into the inner reef. As you can see, in the early mornings and late afternoons, it can get pretty dark in these little crevices and restrictions. This is another spot where you can definitely feel the flow on rougher days. Typically, it'll be pushing you in toward the center of the reef. When you're entering from the inner reef into the swim through, you get to go by these cool kind of linear structures in the wall, like you're going down past these sloping ramps. With those large landmarks out of the way, let's talk about some smaller ones. Shaw's Cove is home to 3 stone archways. The first we've already been through at the mouth of the main swim through. Easily the largest of the 3 arches. You can get 2, maybe even 3 divers going through here simultaneously. Next is this very small, low arch on the side of the southern leg of the swim through, on the inner reef side. In this shot, it would be on the right wall here. And last up is a very shallow, tight little swim through near the entrance and exit to the cove. I'm not sure if it completely seals up on the ceiling, but it's a very tight little tube to swim through. And the perfect way to end off a dive. It spits you out into about 10 feet of water. From there, you can head over to the sand and hang out with our fun little fishy friends. The next minor feature is Lucas's Grotto. I considered Lucas's Grotto to be this 3-way system of channels. The eastern side of the channel is marked by a large rock on the edge of the reef, as well as this small stone plaque with Lucas's information on it. Headed east from the south side of the channel, we're passed by the 3-way intersection here and going east again, past this massive rock wall and out toward the Lucas's plaque next to the large rock. There's our large rock on the left side of the screen there, with the plaque on the far side. Due east from Lucas's plaque, about 50 feet, is the Shelley statue. It's a small statue of a mermaid left by some unknown benefactor. On the western side of the swim-throughs, near the Crescent Cove side, we have the previously mentioned Sparkplug Alley. You'll know you've arrived at Sparkplug Alley at the end of the swim-throughs when you start to notice these lovely river rocks on the ground. We call it Sparkplug Alley because interspersed in these river rocks are hundreds and hundreds of spark plugs. If you just take the time to look closely, I'm sure you could find some for yourself. Another common sight in this area is large schools of zebra perch. And there are several small swim-throughs interconnected here that are really gorgeous and run up very shallow on the edge of the reef. With that, hopefully I haven't overwhelmed you with too much information about our lovely Shaw's Cove. At the very least, I hope that you can see that there are many, many different ways to dive this site and many different places to see within it. If it's a rough day, maybe you head out to the deeper end. If it's really nice, maybe you spend some time in the inner reef and Sparkplug Alley. I hope you've all enjoyed the video. Now, let's go get some burritos and cerveza.